Good afternoon to all of you aspiring masons. I want to show you a couple tricks and they're tricks and they're techniques just to make your life a little bit easier if you're going to take on this kind of work. A lot of people ask me, well, how do you place the rock? And how do you place it in a pattern that looks good and so on. And today we're going to show you what they call a Western dry stack. And Alex, let's look at an example over here of a wall that's laid up. And what we're looking to do, what we want to try to do is avoid any long zippers, any long joints that are continuous. So you can see we have a couple feet here. That's about 3 feet. I try to stay under 4 feet. And then this wall, you won't see a zipper of more than a couple feet, 3 feet. And then you also don't want a continuous joint vertical up and down from the top to the bottom, because that looks like it looks too control. It's like a control joint in a brick wall. It looks like an architect, told you to do it. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it look really natural. So you can see in there, seeing all these, this wall layup, it's all pretty natural. So that's what we're setting out to do on this section over here. So before we start the layup explanation, get a little closer out, because I want to show the viewers a little trick on this. Has been scratched. This is a concrete wall. We scratched it with a juicy mix of mortar and additive to make it stick, and we've tested it. We applied rock, and then I had to take a hammer to get it off of there. But you'll see these little bumps. If we leave these bumps here, it gets in the mason's way. You can't lay the rock on that. So what I like to do is before I start, take a stone, and I just rub that real quick, and it'll take all those little greebles off of there, and it'll make your life a little bit easier when you're laying up. Back. There we go. So that's step number one. You also see the lines on there. So those lines aren't to lay to, they're just for reference. That's a little cheater. I don't have to use them very often, but for this video I wanted to show, and I'm working with new guys, so I wanted to show you how I like to use a reference line. I'll take a rock and I'll show you how we do it. So it could be off. It doesn't have to be right on the line. It could be down below, but I can see the reveal, and that helps me lay that up right as I'm going along. And we'll see. We're gonna do we're gonna wet set here in a little bit, and you'll be able to see how that works. So next thing is we have our mud in the pan. I like to leave a little water on the perimeter to work with, to temper it as I go. This is basically just standard S mortar with a little bit of additive in it to make it a little bit stickier. We get very, very cold winters here. We can freeze our rocks. The mortar can freeze if it gets moisture in it, and it'll pop. That's also why we seal all our work, so we can make it water resistant. Okay, so now the question, we're going to get into the, like, how do we know which rock to place? So I'm looking at my corners. I preset these corners a couple days ago. So I'm looking at these corners, and I'm probably going to start, I got a 4 that's going to fit in here, a 4-inch. Oh yeah, these rocks are 4s, 4-inch, 6-inch, 6-inch, and 2-inch. But they're not exact, so you have to be, they're close, but you have to be kind of nuanced about how you set them up. So I'm looking at my corners. I think I'll start I like to start with bigger rocks on the bottom just because it looks more natural. And then, so I'll probably start with a 6 right here. I'll show that. And I'm going to show you how to butter a rock here. What you want to do, place it on there, and I like to clean it from the back to the front. Keep that edge clean. Almost all covered. Now I'm going to press it on there so it's going to spread out. So I don't worry too much about getting out on the edge. Okay. Now, a very, very good practice to be a good mason, or to be a good anything, I guess, is to clean up as you go. So you see this extra, and on the side here, I always like to press that in Press that in, and I'm ready for the next rock to sit on top of that. Because sometimes I have to leave it. I'll leave my work behind. I got to move around to place the right rock. So the rock up here may not, it doesn't just fall off the edge and go into place. I have to actually eyeball every piece and put it into the right place. So for me, remember, we don't want any long zippers. So to stop that from happening, we don't want to end up right here. So why don't we go to a long, go to a 4, I guess. Let's go to a 4. Paint it. You can see the line. You see the red line. I'm watching that coming off the board, and I set the board to my corner rock here, and my corner rock here. This extra one here is for going around the corner because the grade falls away. So don't worry about that. So now you can see we're not going to have this line won't continue on unless I put an exact 2-inch piece here. Then I've created another one. If I do that, that'd probably be okay because it's not that long. So let's do that, and we'll see how that can happen. Tap it in with the back of your trowel. Okay. Keep that clean. You'll see a little bit of here. Now I let that dry. I don't want to smear it on the face, so I let that dry. I'm keeping my eye on the extra all the time before I get there. So here's a little piece here. All right, so how about we go to a 2-inch piece here. This little notch is going to be, you got to keep your eye out for the ends too, so you're not making any big voids on the end. And by that I mean this. That would lay up like that, and you have this big void right in here. See, what you want to find is a rock that's going to fit in here later. Maybe we'll go 1 more 4. Your life's easier. Now, clean it. Okay, now to break this line, we can throw a 4 or a 6 in there. The 2 is the only one that's going to stop that from keep that zipper going. So let's do a 4. I'll put a 6 up later. Because this is a very short run and a very, very shallow wall, it's not very tall, I don't want to use too many 6s because it looks bunky. So I'll probably have 2 or 3 when I'm done. Okay, so now we broke this line and this line. And we're probably going to want to break it one more time over here. But I do have to keep in mind I got a 4 I got to fit in there. I have to have a 4 there so that from this side view, this looks good. So why don't I throw 2 in here and a short 2. Okay, so I'm setting myself up. Now, go with a short 2. Now, I can put a 4 here. And the other thing I gotta watch for, I need a fairly clean 4-inch block with a good, see this cut face? That's a natural face versus a manufactured face. We don't want that manufactured face pointing to the public. We want the natural face. So on those, what I do is I butter the blocks, but I leave that open. That way I don't get any mess out there. If there's a gap, we take some buff colored mortar and we fill that in. But that looks really good, nice and clean. That dog will hunt. All right. So I look around for cleaning because I'm getting out there and getting a lot of rock up here. Okay, so we have a zipper starting right here, unless I break it. And the only place I can break it from is right in this notch. So a 4 in there or a 6. But these are my choices of 6s that are handy. Got other ones over there. Maybe something like that would work. Nope, too much of a round end, too craggy here. That's gonna make a bad deal for the guy coming behind me to put in the low pieces. So maybe we'll go with that one's pretty square. Yeah, right there, or right there. Then we'll have a little piece there and a little piece there, which breaks it up fairly nice. Yeah. All right. So now somebody who's observant may be wondering, oh, what are you going to do with that? Well, the detail guy comes behind me with pieces and cuts, and he fits those. He custom fits those and cuts and grinds and puts them in. I try not to leave too many behind because it's just time consuming. It's hard to make money when you can do that to yourself. But we have to, because you got to create. You can't have those zippers. You got to create randomness. And so that's the interesting part about it. We have order here, and then I have to create random so to make it look good, because the style is random pattern. Okay, so we're looking at this. Maybe I'll cut I'll put a 2 on here, a 4, and then I'll cut that. We got a 2 to connect to our corner. So let's do that. Okay. Clean that extra. Pushing that up, I learned over the years that when I push that up and around, especially on cultured stone, it helps set the rock better. It creates a little suction on that scratch coat. All right, so let's take a look at how 4 is gonna fit in there. This one's probably not. Kind of okay. I'll throw the 2 in first. Let's see, the 2 here. See if it's gonna fit. Yep. But I'd prefer a longer one. So step around the corner here. See how this one looks. That kind of extends our detail out. So let's do that. Okay. I think you start to get it. You start to get how to lay those up. Now remember the verticals. I don't want to stop here too many times. In fact, that's an easy one to cross. So I can throw a 4 over that probably. Interesting. That way. See, a 2 will fit right in that notch. That'll look pretty cool if anybody's looking. Take a 2, check it out, open there. Oh, look at that. Very nice. I can feel a little bit of a high spot there. See, that is, slide it off if you need to change it, clean it. I wanted that rounder end to fit in that notch. Oh, that looks way better. Another tip, when you're done, you're going to get little splotches, especially from doing this, from pounding on the back of the rock. Sometimes some mortar will come off. You just take a wire brush and you hit it real quick, it'll all come off. I don't worry about cleaning stuff on the face right now because that'll just dry and basically fall off. It comes off really easy. Okay, so we'll place one more rock to break this. So I'm going to have a potential for a zipper along this line. This would be probably a good place for a shorter 6. So let's do that one. Yeah, this one will be fine. And that's going to break this vertical, and it gives me something to build off of horizontally. It breaks this zipper potential here. So I'm thinking about all that as I'm laying up. I'm watching the whole wall, the section. I'm watching it as I go, because you have to think ahead. You have to know what's happening left to right, up and down. And there's no perfect way. Sometimes it takes practice, and you will get it if you practice it. It's a matter of how fast you can move and how productive you can be.